This is Fieldsports Channel News. Some UK partridge shoots are in doubt this season. Bird flu has hit two of the main areas in France that rear partridges for the UK market. As we record this, the Westminster government had not imposed a ban on imports of chicks and eggs from those locations. France has confirmed twice as many outbreaks on poultry farms to date during the 2021-2022 season as it did during the previous season, and the geographical spread is wider, with 8.2 million poultry slaughtered in order to stop the spread of the disease. The UK imports a high percentage of its partridges from France, with estimates ranging from 20% to 80%. Anti-hunting media reports that a ban on trophy imports is still on the table in the Westminster Parliament. DEFRA Secretary George Eustace made the commitment after rumours he had scrapped his Animals Abroad bill. He says the bill has only been delayed as MPs didn't have enough time to debate the bill because of the crisis in Ukraine. The minister says the legislation will be a priority when the new session opens in the spring. DEFRA Minister Zach Goldsmith's personal crusade to ban the import of animal parts has produced angry headlines around the world as African nations condemn it. Meanwhile, the Belgian government says it plans to ban the imports of many animal parts following the Netherlands' ban in 2016. DEFRA is asking the courts to dismiss legal action by Wild Justice. It says Chris Packham's group's request for a judicial review to restrict game bird licences is vexatious and pointless. DEFRA is asking the court to refuse the campaign group permission to bring the action and is seeking costs. It is contesting claims that it expanded the definition of game birds to classify them as livestock. Meanwhile, Wild Justice celebrates victory in Wales, where it has successfully forced a ban on magpie, jay and rook shooting and a season for crow shooting. The wildfire season is underway in the UK's uplands. Poor management practice by organisations such as the RSPB and the National Trust, which they call rewilding, has led to huge swathes of the UK's uplands catching fire. Marsden Moor in West Yorkshire, managed by the National Trust, caught fire and reached a front a mile long. Slaithwaite Fire Station West responded to several barbecue incidents during the warm weather in March. The National Trust for Scotland reports a wildfire with a half-mile front on moorland it manages in Ben Lomond. Grouse moors, where gamekeepers carry out controlled burns in the autumn and winter, are less likely to catch fire, and the fires go out when they reach fire breaks, a management practice praised by local fire brigades. Despite its benefits preventing wildfires and encouraging wildlife, the RSPB and National Trust campaign against controlled burning. DEFRA Minister Lord Richard Benyon is backing the British Game Assurance scheme. He gave his seal of approval during a speech in the House of Lords. He backed the BGA, which promotes and develops standards of game meat from egg to plate. The initiative aims to safeguard the future of game meat by finding new markets, for example, hospitals. The Minister believes the scheme shows the shooting community understands the importance of self-regulation.
I would say to any shoot that if they were not signed up to British Game Assurance, they are very stupid, and they should. They are proving that they are getting Shootings Act in order, and I really do encourage every single shooting interest to sign up to that.
There's a new group to help hunting. Huntingkind.com is lobbying the UK Parliament in Westminster, Holyrood, Cardiff and Stormont to help stop bans on hunting with hounds. It's run by Ed Swales.
I think the French have done it particularly successfully, the New Zealanders have done it very successfully recently, and they've had these protections of what they consider the core being of their communities and their identity, recognised in primary law in some cases, but with the backdrop of UNESCO saying the preservation of your spoken word and your practice of your rituals and your customs is incredibly important. It's as important as the pyramids. You know, you don't take the pyramids down just because you don't like the fact that they're where they are or who built them.
The RSPB is trying to ramp up the importance of sea eagles to tourism. In a new report, it says that sea eagles create up to £5 million worth of tourist spend on the Scottish island of Mull every year. It also claims that visitors on Mull looking for sea eagles support 110 jobs each year. This has come as a surprise to the people of Mull. There is only one charter boat offering sea eagle trips on the island, and it only operates during the summer months, and it only recently started taking credit cards. There is another land-based sea eagle watching trip, which is supported by the RSPB, also only runs during the summer and doesn't take credit cards. The RSPB research fails to recognise that visitors to Mull may have come there anyway, eagles or no eagles. Meanwhile, police say there'll be no investigation following the discovery of a poisoned sea eagle in Dorset. They say it's likely the bird ate poisoned rodents. As part of its campaign to abolish the gamekeeping profession, the RSPB wants police to investigate local gamekeepers for the bird's death. Police are investigating a fire at a Liverpool farm in which 5 horses died. The animals were at Rookery Farm in St Helens when the fire started. The barn has now been condemned and the farm has been forced to close. 9 horses that survived need to be moved to new stables. Deborah Rigby, whose daughter had a horse at the farm, has set up a GoFundMe page to help with the cost of finding the animals new homes. She says everyone who uses the farm is like a family and they want to keep the horses together. Details of the fundraising is in the description below. Shooters and hunters across Europe are continuing their support for refugees from Ukraine. The North Cotswold hunt raised more than £5,000 at a meet in Worcestershire. It sent a lorry to Poland to deliver aid to refugees on the border with Ukraine. As we reported in previous weeks, the International Council for Game and Wildlife Conservation is still mobilising its members and partners to help refugees by setting up food distribution centres near the borders. The CIC is donating game meat, equipment and materials. Gun owners are outraged in Western Australia after the police released a map to the media of firearms locations in a Perth suburb. The Sporting Shooters Association of Australia calls the action a breach of trust. Members are concerned about their privacy and the consequences of identifying where gun owners live. The association says the release shows a blatant disregard for the shooting community and is causing distress. It's demanding an apology from the Western Australian Minister for Police, Paul Papalia. The map was released as part of a campaign to overhaul gun ownership laws in Western Australia. Police have refused to apologise, saying details like street names and other features had been removed from the maps. The Western Cape High Court has suspended the 2022 hunting quotas in South Africa. The government had announced licences for leopards, elephants and black rhinos. However, the court granted an appeal to the USA's Humane Society International to suspend quotas. The matter will be decided at a full hearing, which is expected in 2 weeks. And finally, a rare deer fawn has made its debut at Chester Zoo in England. Lyra is a Philippine spotted deer, one of only 700 in the world. It was born to parents Nova and Cosmos before Christmas, but has only just appeared in public. The species became extinct on the Philippine Islands. The family at the zoo is part of a conservation breeding program set up with the help of the Philippine government. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.